Good evening. Welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the Thing Show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so called African American didn't find their way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous One. Here at African Americans Ain't Africans, we're not here to entertain. We're here to just give you a little bit of information that anybody can find to give you an inner look into yourself, the indigenous people of America, who everybody know who they are, but the so-called Black African American, they don't know. They only know what somebody told them they are. That's all they know. If you ever, that's why you have so much arguing on the internet now, because it's not what they know, it's what somebody else told them. The Black and African American doesn't function under his own merit. They function by what somebody tells them to do. If you see it otherwise, the link is in the chat. You can come and explain what you're talking about, because you're at the point now where these grown people can't even have a conversation. It's just so much bickering and cooning going on that you can't even get a thought across. You can't hand that off to the children. Greetings, everyone. Sylvia Love Jones, Elkamon, Hop Bay, KW, greetings. Glad you guys came in. This is only going to be short. And you might want to share this information with the young ones and give them a map so they can see where they are in this matrix that we find ourselves in. This map I want to share with you tonight is an antique map around the 1700s. When looking at maps, you always have to ask yourself, if you don't ask yourself this, you're always going to be lost. How are they able to make maps in the 16 and 1700s if there were no airplanes or no helicopters to map out the area? Just ask yourself that question. You'll come up. If you ask yourself, you will come up with the answer. But you have to have some kind of belief in yourself. If you think you Black, African American, monkey, whatever name you're given, you won't get it. But ask yourself questions like that, and you will get an answer. That's what Earth, Wind, and Fire was talking about in the song All About Love. Talking to yourself is fine. Just don't get carried away with it. You can ask yourself questions because you are the one inside the monkey suit that you now occupy. So this map that you see here, it goes by a Latin name. I'll put the link to the map in the chat. Let me put it in there now so I won't forget it, so you can get it and take a look at it. KW, you're most welcome. That's what we have to do, share information. It was a time where these people right here, they used to communicate with nature. The Black African American doesn't do that anymore. They run from it. They've been trained to run from it. So these people used to share information, kind of like how you see ants. Anytime you see ants, you'll see them passing on information. Each and every one of them will touch antennas to get the information from the ant in back of them, getting it from in front of them. That's how they used to communicate. This is how the indigenous people learned from nature. I know it's something that we're not really into now. We don't believe it. Check it out. You'll find that it's true. So this map, when you're looking at these maps, don't just look at the pictures. "Oh, it's the black people in the map." Those people are not black. They didn't refer to themselves as black. They didn't refer to themselves as African Americans. They didn't refer to themselves as colored. So instead of just looking at the map and being pumped up because you see people who look like your mama, your daddy, your kids, especially the kids. We'll talk about that another time. Read, read what's going on in the map. You'll get a whole different look at the map. And you will get the understanding that they're talking about you. When I say you, I don't mean you in your current form. I mean you in what you were created to be. So I wanted to read the description. Pay attention to what's being said and what's being done. And you'll remember some of the things that these people are doing in this map. Some of your grandmothers, mothers have done. You've seen it. Some of the things they're doing in this map, you do today. But since we're black, African American, Negro, you don't even recognize yourself because somebody else told you. The people who put out this map told you that you are something else. By the way, this is the map to show the world what was going on in America and what they could do if they came over here, because this wasn't going on over in those other places. So I just want to read the description of the map, what's going on in the map. Then we're going to just go over the map to show you things that we should be aware of. Not arguing, not bickering, letting people speak. Because if I go on one of these apps, I can't even share this type of information. People are just passing out information about black people. You'll always be lost. Always. So this is the description of the map. It's an antique map and it has a Latin name. I don't know, many of you probably can read that. I don't read Latin. But it's put out around 1740. Now, just because it was put out around 1740 doesn't mean it was made later or prior. That's when it was published. Because as you can see, it's a detailed map. But it was published by Matthew Sutter, and he was here from 1687 to 1757. One cartouche with the scene of Genoese men at the table, personification of the church. Now, we know the damage the church has caused. Those who doesn't think the church has caused damage to the community, there's the link in the chat. Please come up and explain how it hasn't, and be convincing. One of the cartouches is flanked by penitent indigenous figures before an altar table gifting gold coins and jewelry. Isn't that something we do today? Share, buy gifts, get gifts, make gifts for each other. In the background are North American indigenous straw dwellings. So remember, this is how the houses were built. They weren't built now how the people rape your land, take your resources, and sell it back to you. You built your houses your own way. It brings a whole new meaning to when you always hear Negroes say, "We built this country." Don't speak. The lower cartouche with the pelican, cockatiel, toucan, and flying sawtooth tiger above indigenous figures bearing woven lidded baskets, lumber, sugar loaves in a zigzag basket, a female figure chews leaf, spitting them into a pitcher at the feet of a shaded king. Scenes of hammock living, tobacco, and sugarcane harvesting. The map showing California as an island, upper margin inscribed in ink. Who are those people? Who are those people? And how are those people connected to you? Because you always say, indigenous. Those are the indigenous people. Those aren't foundational Black Americans. You think those people refer to themselves as Black? You think those people refer to themselves as African American? You think those people refer to themselves as Negro? What you do now? And if somebody tell you that you're not that, you'd slap the shit out of them? Isn't that what you do? All these cats. You got a cat who goes under the auspices of an Arab name teaching you that you're foundational Black Americans. That's where you are now, aren't you? Aren't you? Send the money, build a school. That's what Black people do. If it isn't what they do, the link is to the chat. Explain what they do if they're not doing that. Because see, all we do is get guys who want to argue and can't explain nothing they saying. So I want to take a look at this map real quick to show you some things just to pay attention to when you go over map. Just don't look at it for the pictures. Look and see what the map is saying. Look closely. Get one of your children, one of your mothers or fathers, and everybody look over the map because you'll get something from everybody else. Everybody brings something. Don't these cats look like they're the cats who all the music your mom and daddy, grandmom and granddaddy grew up on? Don't they look like the people who do it? Don't they look like the people who everybody in the world follow, wanna be? That's those people. Those aren't those aren't African Americans. African Americans have been trained away from that so much they'll never get back to it. So let's take a look at this map, and you're gonna notice some things about it that we should all know. I mean, I know many of us, we don't like information, we don't like to read, we don't like to ask questions. This is the majority of Black people in America. They rather watch TV. If football season's coming up, mine's gonna be gone. So, one of the things you'll notice, aside from the map, is all the writing around America inside, but it's a lot of writing. Like I say, get this map. I put the link in the chat. What are those? What is being said? What's being said? Remember, this was an attack from about 5 or 6 countries at the time. If you look down there where Florida is, with Spanish, Portuguese down there, people are trying to lay claim to the land, calling it certain things, not what the people who live there call it. They came and put their own stamp on it, like they put their stamp on you. When this was map was done, there was no such thing as an American. They were American, soul people. That's what those people were called. Break down the word American. Remember, in these words, they're compound words, 2 or 3 words put together to make up another word. That's how the English language is made up. Guess who don't know that? We'll take what somebody say and be controlled by it our whole lives. You think these people were called Americans? You think that people call themselves Americans? They're called Americans. Or that's what the people who saw them called them. But they had mountain ranges. They had mountain ranges, lakes, rivers, all that, letting you know who they were. But what are all those names you see? Are those names still in existence today? Where did your people come from on this map? Now remember, there's no Mexico. I mean, it's probably being broken up around this time, but all that's one landmass. There were no borders. That's another reason your mind get twisted up. Somebody write a line in the middle of the paper and you followed what the paper say. There were no lines. There was no Mexico. There was no Costa Rica, Honduras. No, none of that. It was one. It wasn't North America and South America and Central America. It was the Americas, the Americas. Break the word down by what the people called it. Because remember, they weren't speaking your language. Monosyllab, uh, monosyllables. What did you call it? I didn't call it nothing. That's what you get from the Pan African, African American. I know some of you guys are pissed off because I talk about them, but they have messed up shit for far too long. Far too long. Here's another thing you're going to want to notice, especially when you're looking at a map. Remember, people live in different places. People live, here's the equator right here. Here's the equator. Here's the Caribbean right here. And this is one of the things that really twist us up. You ever notice why Africans' hair isn't like indigenous people in America? You ever notice why African mouths are not like ours? So, and many of you won't believe me. Oh, yeah. Go to a dentist, preferably in a place like New York, where big immigrant influx is. Ask a dentist, especially one of yours, is there a difference in the mouth structure in Africans and indigenous people? And watch what they tell you. Guess who don't know that? See, I'm telling you now, many of y'all, she full of shit. Just do it. Totally different species of people. Another thing that you'll notice on the equator, the hair is real tightly coiled. Why? It's not nappy or none of that stuff why you call what you call it. It's real tightly coiled because you're on the equator. You're closest to the sun. If you've been to the Caribbean on them islands, you know that sun is beaming down. You're gonna be darker. If you take a 4-day cruise down to the Caribbean, you come back, you're gonna be darker because the sun is putting out that much energy. Then when you start getting up to Florida, the sun's a little less intense. It's still intense, but it's a little less intense. When you move up to Georgia, Alabama, it's a little less intense. You keep moving up to North Carolina, Virginia, the sun gets a little less intense. Yeah, it's still hot, but it's not as hot as in the Caribbean. So the people are going to look different. Their hair's going to be different. Their skin color's going to be different. Somebody saw your skin color and decided to call it black. Not that it was, because it's not. Black, the term black, it's a word, it's a term. Just like your girlfriend or boyfriend to get butterflies in the stomach when you tell them how much you love them or what you mean to them, the term black has the same effect. Black and block be the same word. Aren't vowels interchangeable? All the term black does is block you from yourself. That's all it does. Anybody who want to argue that point and convince us that isn't what it does, civilly, don't come up huffing and puffing like you know something and don't. People in Alaska don't look like people in Florida. Different environment, different species, different type bears, different type snakes. Guess who don't know that? Guess who's wearing my baby is the smartest student at Woodcrest Elementary School and don't know that? Nothing about nature. They look like those people down there don't know anything about nature. These people up here, do it look like they don't know nothing about nature? These are your ancestors. Don't even think about them. Don't care. You will call yourself what an African tells you to. That's what the African American does, doesn't he? I hear all these people. See, now that it's picking up now that it's starting to make sense to a lot of people. Because 10 years ago, this wouldn't make sense to a lot of people. I got people wanting to kill me for saying this. Negroes, the ones that's been leading you along this bullshit all this time, because they has been lied to. They not gonna tell the truth. They gonna do what boss say do. Still do it today. Talk about something that don't matter. You'll notice in all the feeds, 99% of the information don't mean a goddamn thing. Not gonna do nothing to help you, your children, your parent, nobody. You have to ask yourself when the Negroes see when Negroes say stuff like, "We built this country." My question is, were you in the military serving the people who took over your country when you built the country? They shut up. Because you see some of these people, they say, listen, man, yeah, your women are pretty, but we got some women that will let you go up in their rectum. Really? Yeah. Hey, we got the drawings from about this time. We got the drawings from around this time. So when you call yourself chief and all that stuff, how did how did how did the Cherokee and Choctaw, how were they civilized all of a sudden when you were savages at this time? Because the time had passed for this. They wanted to take the land. They had to say that you were savage so they could subdue the land. Guess who don't know that? So when you go back and you know, just don't look at it here in America. Go when you go to these different places in the world, because I know a lot of you travel, go to their museums. Go talk to the people, they'll tell you. Everybody knows who you are, but you have been blocked out from yourself. And normally when this information is given, normally when this information is passed on, the Negro acts a damn fool, will scratch your eyeballs out to say that that's not his people. So what I would suggest, go to some of these countries. You got groups, if you got a group of people, I don't know, let's say 10 people, do threes. The 10 people save up for 3 people to go somewhere. Let's say you go, what's one of the places they called over here? New Amsterdam before it was New York. Where's Amsterdam? Where's old Amsterdam? Wouldn't it make sense to go to old Amsterdam, to go to their museums, to see what they thought about the Americans? Isn't that simple to tell somebody? Wouldn't it make more sense to go over to Germany and see what they have about the Americas? You would piss your pants. But no, we just want to go eat and drink. Look at these maps. First, start thinking. For those of you who don't, first start thinking. Because one thing the African American black person doesn't, they don't believe in thinking. They just know everything by osmosis. don't they? When you ask simple questions, you get no answers. Notice that when you're talking to one. Notice when people come over and try to tell you who you are. They can't tell you who they are, but they sure can tell you who you are. Notice that. So, so we're going to end it for tonight. We weren't even trying to go this long. Check out these maps. They're all over. Like I said, I put the link to this one in the chat. There's hundreds. Check out what the people are saying about these people. They were saying they weren't even people. They were calling something otherworldly because they were so they never met people like this before in their life. These are your ancestors. These are your ancestors. How do you think they feel? Because remember, all you are their replacement. That's all you are. You have to know that. You can look forward and backwards. You have that ability. You can see into the future. You can see back 1,000 years. You have that ability. But since you're black, you're locked from it. This is what the umbilical cord is for. Connects you all the way back to these people. Guess who don't know that? You know now. That's you in the map. H HOA. Huh? I don't know. That's all we say. Don't know nothing. You know the score of the football game. You know who got drafted in the third round with a 22nd pick. I mean, you know, stuff like that. But when to knowing anything about yourself, your people, where they lived, what were the minerals in it, none of that, nothing. Won't even teach your kids that. Won't even let your kids know about that. But everybody else teaches their kids that's you. And since you don't know shit now, they teach their children to be you. What you do? Turn around and teach your kids to be them, don't you? You guys have a good night. We'll see you next time. What is that? I do not see that, Ken. Yeah, okay. Okay. You don't see it. Keep looking. Maybe you're not looking hard enough. You guys have a good night. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.